All right, 7th graders, we're going to go through some sample questions that you'll need to know how to do for your quiz tomorrow from chapter 7. All right, this is your 7A quiz. So it covers the first 3 lessons of chapter 7. The first one that you have to be able to do tomorrow is to write an equation for this type of problem. It says the sum of 5 consecutive integers equals negative 65. Okay? The first thing you'll need to do is write down the expression for those integers. Alright? The first integer we just write as n, a number. That's what n stands for. Okay? Now, since these are consecutive integers, that means they're going to increase by 1. So then the second is n plus 1. The third is n plus 2. The fourth is n plus 3. And the fifth is n plus 4. Right? Sure. And if you add all the n's together, you combine all these like terms, how many n's do you have?
11.
10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 n's. And then how many 1's do you have?
1.
10. How many 1's? John?
10.
10. Yep.
First try.
So 5n plus 10 equals what? Negative 65. That's how you get your first point when you're doing these equations. Okay? This will be the first point on the quiz, is to write this equation. Okay? Now, it may be 4 consecutive integers, it may be 3 consecutive integers, it might be 3 consecutive even integers. What if they were 3 consecutive even integers? Then you do n, skip n plus 1, because the next one would be n plus 2 if it was even or odd. You'd skip 1. And then the third integer would be n plus 4 if it was even or odd. Right? That was the example we did yesterday. So you can review those as well. Let's solve this equation. The second point that you'll get for this question. What do we do first? Keyshawn? We have to get rid of the 10 on this side, right? How do you get rid of the 10? Class?
Add negative 10.
Add negative 10.
Yeah, you add negative 10.
If you add negative 10 to both sides, you get what?
You get 5n plus 0 equals negative 75.
Yeah. So that means 5n equals negative 75. Now, how do you group the 5 n's? Divide by 5 on both sides. Cross off these reciprocals, and n equals negative 15. Right? So now what? This will be the second point. Will be to get this solution, figure out what n is. And then the third point is, if n equals negative 15, then n plus 1 is negative 14. N plus 2 is negative 14. N plus 3 is negative 12. And n plus 4 is negative 11. Okay? So you get 3 points for this question. Okay? 3 points for this question. Let's go to your homework. Number 12. Oops, page 364. Wait, we did number 12 together. Let's do number 13. You'll have to do some work with decimals tomorrow. Number 13 is 0.7c minus 10 equals 0.5. What do we use first to solve this? Class?
Add a plus sign. The entire class together.
Okay, thanks, class. Then what?
You're welcome.
Then what? Class?
You add 10.
Add 10.
Both sides.
Both sides, right. You can check your work on this. Make sure that you have this correct. Check your work. That means 10.5 equals 0 plus 0.7c. And then 0.7c equals 10.5. Then what? Nikki? Yep. Cross these off. Then this is where you can use your calculator. Joey?
10.5 divided by 0.7, that is 15.
15. Yep. C equals 15. Okay? Make sure you cross off the reciprocals tomorrow. Okay? That'll be a half a point when you're showing your work. Is to cross off the reciprocals. Okay? What if we had one with fractions? Which you'll have to do tomorrow. So what if we have number 20 in your book? 5/8 times b minus 4 equals 2. Let's do this one together. Kira?
Add a plus sign for the minus sign.
Okay, so this is plus negative. Now what? We have two options. We can get rid of the fractions by multiplying by 8 on both sides, or we could
Or add positive. Oh, yeah.
or just multiply over the parentheses, right? What's 5/8 times p?
5/8.
5/8 p's, yep. Okay. Then what?
Then you do 5/8 times -4.
Yeah, over 1, right? 5/8 times -4. We can reduce that to 8 and 5, or 8 and 4 can be reduced to 1 and 2. And then multiply the fractions. Then what? 5 times 1 is, that's -1. And 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1. This 2 times this 1.
5 times 1 is
No, 5 times -1 is -1. Because this is -4. Okay?
5 times -1 is -1. 5 times -1 is -1 is -5.
Oh, -5. You're right. I'm sorry. All right. And then 2 times 1 is 2. Now, add what to both sides?
Negative 5.
5 halves.
Yeah, negative
Add 5 halves to both sides. So you have to add 5 halves to 2. Okay? How do we do that? Well, since we have a whole number, we can just add and make this 2 and 5 over 2. Right?
Yep.
2 and 5 over 2. Or what's 5 halves as a mixed number? 2 and a half. Right? So if we change this to 2 and a half, then 2 plus 5 halves is 4 and a half. Okay? Now what? Where are we at in the problem? What do we have left on this side? So we have still 5/8 P equals 4 and a half. Now what? Henry? How do we get rid of this 5/8?
You divide it by 5/8. No, you multiply by 5/8.
Multiply it not by 5/8, by 8/5. Multiply it by the reciprocal. 8 over 5. Cross out these reciprocals. And now we're going to multiply 4 and a half by 8 over 5. Now we've got to rewrite that problem, don't we? Because we have to make fractions times fractions. So convert 4 and a half to a fraction. What is that? 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So 9 over 2 times 8 over 5. Then what?
Cos multiply.
So 1 and 4. Reduce 8 to 4 and 1 to 2.
Good. Then we can multiply 36 over 5. And then, what's 36/5 as a mixed number? How many times does 5 go into 36? 7 times. So P equals 7 and 1/5. Or 7 points. Okay? Any questions on solving, on the procedure? If we have a fraction, how do we get rid of its coefficient? How do we get rid of that coefficient if it's a fraction? Multiply it by its reciprocal. Yep. Decimals, we treat the decimals. The procedure doesn't change if we're working with decimals. And then make sure that you know how to do the consecutive integer type problems. Okay?